October 12, 2014, from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was the Carolina Panthers at the Cincinnati Bengals. In the first quarter, the Panthers were the first to get on the scoreboard when Cam Newton hit Kelvin Benjamin for a 3-yard touchdown pass to make it 7-0. That would be it for the first. Then in the second quarter, less than a minute in, Andy Dalton hit Tate for a 5-yard touchdown pass to tie this game up at 7 apiece. Giovani would score the game's next touchdown on an 89-yard touchdown run to put the Bengals ahead for the first time in the game, with the score now 14-7. And then Gano kicked a 39-yard field goal to make it 14-10. And just before halftime, Nugent hit a 44-yard field goal that made it 17-10. So going into the locker rooms at halftime, the Bengals were up by a touchdown over the Panthers. Then in the third quarter, it was all Panthers as they scored 14 unanswered points in the third. First, Fozzy Whittaker had a 4-yard touchdown run, and that made it tied up at 17 apiece. And then Cam Newton had a 12-yard touchdown run to put the Panthers ahead by a touchdown at 24-17 over the Bengals. And then in the fourth quarter, Mohamed Sanu caught a 34-yard touchdown pass from Andy Dalton that tied this game up at 24 apiece. But then Cam Newton hit Olsen for a 13-yard touchdown pass to put the Panthers back in the lead at 31-24. Jeremy Hill then ran for a 3-yard touchdown run, and that made it 31-31 as the game was now tied. Nugent then kicked a 38-yard field goal, and that put the Bengals up 34-31. And then Gano kicked a 44-yard field goal at the end of the game to tie it up at 34 apiece to send it into overtime. And in overtime, the Bengals ended up getting a field goal, a 42-yarder from Nugent to put them ahead. But the Panthers then had a chance to come back and actually get a field goal or a touchdown of their own. They weren't able to score, and Gano came out to kick a 36-yard field goal, and it was good. And this game was back to being tied, now at 37 apiece. And that would be it in the extra period as time expired. And this is the first tie of 2014, and it's between the Carolina Panthers and the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. As the Panthers are now 3-2-1, and the Bengals are now 3-1-1. And in this game, Cam Newton was 29 for 46 with 284 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He also ran for 107 yards and a touchdown off of 17 carries, and he was the leading rusher for Carolina. The leading rusher in the game, though, was Giovani, who had 137 rushing yards off of 18 carries, one of which was for a touchdown. He also had 20 yards receiving off of 4 receptions. And Olsen led the Panthers in receiving with 62 yards off of 6 receptions and a touchdown. But the game's leading receiver was Mohamed Sanu of the Bengals, who had 120 yards off of 10 receptions, one of which was for a touchdown. And Andy Dalton in this game was 33 for 43 with 323 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He also ran for 25 yards off of 4 carries. And on defense, Nelson and Burfict both had over 10 tackles. Nelson had 11. Burfict had 10. They each had a tackle for a loss. Nelson defended 2 passes, and he also had that interception. Kason and Harper had interceptions for the Panthers. Kuechly had 13 tackles. Davis had 9. The Panthers had 1 sack. That lone sack was Johnson. The Bengals did not have any sacks. And this game ended in the first tie of 2014, as we stated.